You saw the headline, and your jaw probably dropped. Caitlin Clark is leaving for Europe, right when the WNBA needs her most. That line spreads fast, because it sounds dramatic, simple, and final. But the truth is rarely that simple. Here's what matters. The story lives at the intersection of money, minutes, health, and brand. Europe can pay well in the right situations. The WNBA is getting richer, but the base pay still lags. Off-season leagues tempt stars. Yet every extra game is another turn of the stress dial. And Clark is more than a scorer. She is an economic engine. She shifts tickets, ratings, and sponsorships. That makes every rumor about her feel like a market shock. So we're gonna cut through noise and map the real choices on the table. We will examine where the rumor started, why it keeps coming back, and what it would actually mean if it became real. You'll get the money math, the basketball fit, the medical reality, and the brand chess behind every decision. If you want more clear, no-fluff breakdowns like this, subscribe now, because we do this every week and we do it straight. Ready to separate hype from heat and figure out what's next for the W? Good. Let's go where the rumor lives and where the facts begin. But the rumor's path tells you who benefits from keeping it alive. These headlines didn't drop out of the sky. They surfaced after a cycle of injury updates, schedule debates, and off-season speculation that made even mild whispers sound huge. Then came a wave of videos framing the move as done, or basically confirmed, which it isn't. Why does that framing stick? Because it sells the easiest version of a complicated choice. It compresses years of league economics, endorsements, and sports medicine into one juicy sentence. Add the fact that many WNBA players historically chase overseas money in the winter, and you get a rumor that feels plausible even when it's not official. The machine runs on clicks, but also on genuine fan F. People worry that if Clark leaves, the WNBA's momentum stumbles. They worry about the Fever's rebuild. They worry about what it says about the league's pay and schedule. That anxiety keeps the rumor warm. It becomes a placeholder for bigger conversations about respect, revenue splits, and what it takes to keep a superstar happy, healthy, and paid. Understanding that media ecosystem isn't gossip. It's scouting the real game. But to see the real stakes, you have to follow the money. Let's put numbers on the table. WNBA base salaries are capped, with a supermax that still reads modest next to global basketball pay. That is changing, but slowly. Endorsements fill the gap for stars like Clark, and they can dwarf on-court pay. Europe offers a mixed landscape. A few clubs pay very well, many do not. Taxes, housing, and contract guarantees vary by country and team. The top end looks shiny, but average deals are far less. On pure dollars, an elite European contract can beat a WNBA salary season by season. But Clark's business isn't just salary. It is a portfolio. US visibility powers shoe deals, national campaigns, live events, and an audience that follows her every move. Going overseas for a season can add cash, yet it can also dilute the center of gravity that makes the brand grow. The question's not, where's the biggest single check? It is what combo of pay, health, and platform maximizes total lifetime value? When you run that equation, the result depends on her current health window, not just the line on a contract. But money means little if your body can't cash the checks. There's a reason veterans talk about rest like it's a currency. The WNBA calendar is intense. Overseas calendars are intense. Stack them, and you risk fatigue compounding into injuries that change careers. For a player who just navigated injuries and a heavy spotlight, the most valuable offseason might be the quiet one. No flights every 3 days, no double scouting loads, no endless media, just refining skills, building strength, and recovering tendons and ligaments that don't care about your endorsement deals. Fans look at Europe or not through pay. Trainers look at it through tissue. A superstar's late career earning power depends on what she preserves now. If Clark spends a winter rebuilding movement patterns, tightening the handle under pressure, adding more counters in the mid-range, and restoring full lower body pop, she could return with a version 2.0 toolkit that breaks defenses differently. That is not as splashy as a New Jersey and Istanbul or Prague. It is, however, how primes get extended and ceilings get raised. But overseas isn't only about workload, it's about style too. There is real basketball value overseas. EuroLeague women can sharpen reads in tighter spaces. Different officiating can improve craft. Some teams run gorgeous half-court sets that punish lazy help. For a high IQ guard, those reps can be priceless. There's also the thrill of carrying a massive club, where the arena sings, the banners hang heavy, and the expectations are ruthless in a good way. That environment can put steel in a star's game. The flip side is fit. Not every roster gives you the ball and the system you need. Some clubs change coaches midstream, some leagues allow far rougher contact, and midwinter travel can grind you down. So the basketball question isn't, is Europe better? It is, does a specific team with a specific coach run a system that amplifies Clark's strengths without burning her legs? If the answer is yes, a short stint could be a chess move. If the answer is no, it's noise that costs energy you never get back. But there is another off-season door people forget to check. Unrivaled was pitched as a fresh, player-centric option. It offered money, visibility, and a new format. Clark passed. That decision mattered. It showed she's not chasing every dollar or every headline. She's choosing her windows. Stars who last a decade learn to say no. They curate their calendars to protect their legs and their long game. That mindset also hints at how she sees the next few years. The priority looks like NBA-style brand building in the US, with targeted basketball work rather than endless off-season mileage. If that's the lens, a European detour would need to be perfect. Right coach, right medical staff, right schedule, right benefits to her skill growth. Otherwise, it isn't a third door. It is a trapdoor. This is what mature superstardom looks like. Discipline looks boring on social, but it wins in May and June. But the WNBA side of the chessboard is changing too. The league's audience has spiked. Ticket sales and ratings have leapt. Media money is getting bigger. New CBA numbers are being debated that could push salaries way up. When the pie grows, the calculus shifts for stars. Why sprint overseas now if domestic pay could soon jump meaningfully while you stay front and center for sponsors? For Clark, this isn't just about being a great player. It's about being a growth engine aligned with a league on the rise. The longer she anchors big moments on US broadcasts, the more leverage she builds for the next contract cycle, and the more stable her brand becomes. There's also the team story, the fever of building around her. Continuity matters. A winter of rest and targeted work inside that system might be worth more than an away jersey and a quick wire transfer. The W is learning how to keep its stars home. That's good for everyone, if the dollars follow. But fans don't argue about cap sheets. They argue about culture. Every Clark conversation turns into a referendum on the WNBA. Some say she's protected. Others say she's hunted. Some say she saved the league. Others say she's only one star among many. The truth lives somewhere in the grind. Vilu moments, hard fouls, hot quotes, icy handshakes keep the comment wars hot. That heat keeps rumors alive too. If you love her, a Europe headline looks like betrayal or survival, depending on your lens. If you doubt her, it looks like proof she can't take the physicality. Reality check? She has already proved plenty. The question is not toughness, it is optimization. Where can she best build a dynasty, not just a week of content? That is how pros think, and that's how fans should evaluate the choices in front of her. But inside the lines, the physical game still drives every decision. WNBA defenses are proud, seasoned, and physical. Welcome to grown-up basketball. Clark gets trapped high, bumped on curls, and tested on drives. Some nights it looks like she's targeted, but that is what great guards draw. Overseas isn't soft either. Some leagues let more hand-checking ride. Some teams have two bruising forwards rotating bodies at your hips. Style changes, but the collisions remain. What shifts is whistle rhythm, court geometry, and personnel. That's why a strategic offseason can matter more than a scenic one. Adding counters, strengthening core and hips, and mastering contact finishes turn those bumps into and ones. That is a better answer than hoping a different passport stamp changes the rules. Clark's game is already evolving. The best path doubles down on skill under pressure, not just miles on the odometer. But the brand game might be the loudest one of all. A superstar's value is bigger than a box score. It is the story fans tell themselves when they buy a jersey, open a stream, or show up on a Tuesday night. Europe can be romantic, New gyms, new crowds, big banners. But Clark's core market lives stateside. Sponsors care about consistent presence, not just clips. A winter abroad might add a chapter. Yet it can also split attention, complicate media runs, and interrupt community building with Fever fans. The better brand move is often the steadier one. A clear narrative that climbs season by season, with signature moments you can plan into. If the business side is the tiebreaker, that favors staying close to the center of gravity that made her the sport's biggest headline in the first place. But none of this happens if the body isn't right. After any injury stretch, the goal is not just back. It's better than before. That takes time. It takes ruthless prioritization. It means saying no to good opportunities to protect great ones. Players who rush back into full-tilt schedules often pay later. The smartest stars build stability. Ankle, knee, back, core, then layer new skills. If Europe offered truly elite medical support, controlled minutes, and a clear development plan, it could be justified. But most short-term overseas runs cannot promise all three. A custom off-season in the US can. That is why you see veterans return with new weapons rather than new stamps on the passport. Clark is young enough to add entire branches to a game. Winter is where those branches grow. But what if the rumor actually became real? Then what? Let's run the hypothetical. Clark signs with a top Euro club for a winter campaign. Short term, overseas attendance spikes. Streams jump, merch flies. The WNBA loses some off-season content gravity. And Fever fans feel the gap. On the floor, she gets different reads, different whistles, and a new playbook that could sharpen adjusts. The risk is cumulative wear and tear and a brand focus divided across time zones. If she dominates and returns healthy, her aura grows. If she tweaks a hamstring in February, the narrative gets dark fast. For the league, it would become a bargaining billboard. Pay us more or watch stars leave in winter. That could speed up positive change, but it will come with anxiety you cannot avoid. High reward, real risk, but what is the most likely outcome right now in the real world? Occam's razor time. The most probable path is simple. Clark stays stateside this winter, rebuilds strength, cleans up movement, stacks counters, and returns to the Fever with a tighter handle, a nastier mid-range, and fresher legs. She does limited media that amplifies her story without draining energy. She appears at a few select events that matter to sponsors. She expands the brand the right way, not the loudest way. The rumor will keep buzzing because rumors always do. But when opening night arrives, performance ends all debates. If the WNBA's next CBA lifts salaries as expected, the overseas conversation gets even quieter. That is not anti-Europe. It is pro-longevity. Pros bet on windows, not headlines. And that brings us to the last piece, your role in all this. Here's the bottom line. Rumors move fast, careers move slow. Every great player chooses trade-offs. Money versus minutes, workload versus skill growth, brand versus travel. The smart path optimizes for the next 5 years, not the next 5 weeks. That's why the most likely and most profitable move is simple. Stay centered, get healthy, add weapons, and come back sharper. If a perfect overseas offer appears later, revisit it. Until then, the W's rise and Clark's rise are linked, and that partnership is paying off. If you want more breakdowns that slice through noise and give you the real levers behind the headlines, hit subscribe now. Drop a comment with what you want next, and share this with a friend who still believes every breaking thumbnail. We'll keep it real, fast, and fun. Next time, let's pull a different thread and see where it leads.